Hello and welcome everybody to another installment of Golden Gooner TV with your host Shannon Golden. Before we get started on today's video, guys, I just want to thank everybody that's liked, subscribed, commented and shared the channel so far. Thank you guys so much for all the love that you've shown. It's really appreciated, and yes, please keep on doing that and let's grow this channel. So let's review the game, guys. Lens 2, Arsenal 1. I have mixed feelings about the game. I think that we didn't play to our best, but we still created enough, in my opinion, to win the game. We just didn't take our chances. If you're thinking about the chance Havertz maybe has in the first half, the one that Trossard has, Nelson, Jesus has one, he plays over the bar from the edge of the box. We had some decent openings to at least score another goal to maybe even get a draw out of the game. Do I think we performed to our best? No. Were we as fluent as I would like us to be? No. So from that aspect, I think, it could have went either way. I think Lens' game plan was very good. I think they pressed us very well. I think they were good in possession and out of possession. I think their centre-back Danzo last night was magnificent. He marshaled Jesus very well, frustrated him throughout the entire game. And then you're looking at the attacking players, for example, like their striker Wahi, he was fantastic last night. Good goal by him. Both goals from Lens were exceptional, actually. And yeah, look, I don't think that we can be too upset, but I can also understand why I think we were also a bit unlucky in that perspective. In my opinion, everyone, I think it was a missed opportunity for Arsenal last night. I think that it was, with the big week that we have, Champions League last night, and then the Premier League game against City, I think having a win yesterday would have just been fantastic. I think it would have been great to get the 3 points in a week where, we have so much riding on not necessarily our season, but just before the international break, it would have been great to go in with the confidence of beating Lens in the Champions League, and then playing City on the weekend, maybe a bit more confident. But now we go into the City game, maybe a slightly bit more shaken up, but we have to perform. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it, because if we want to be serious contenders this season, we have to beat City either away or home. We have to win one of our 2 games against them in the league this season, in my opinion. So yeah, like I said, I think it was a missed opportunity from us last night just to get some good momentum going in. But look, it's still early days in the Champions League. It's only two games played. We've got 4 more left. We've got 3 points from a possible 6, which is not a bad return. And yeah, we move. Then obviously the one big talking point from yesterday's game was Bukayo Saka's injury. And I saw a lot of fans, myself too, was frustrated, And I think it's not the frustration that he got injured. I think it was the frustration that he started because he had been picked up an injury in the last 2 games. It wasn't like Saka was fresh and there's no injury concerns about him. I think if Saka had not gone off injured against Spurs and against Bournemouth and he picked up an injury yesterday, I don't think we would have been as mad, because we would have thought, okay, it's just come out of nowhere. Look, Arteta did say that it's not the same injury that has occurred in the last 2 games, but still, there's always that element where people will say, but you could have rested him. I'm in the opinion that Arteta made the right decision. If any Arsenal fan thinks that resting your star player in the second game of the Champions League is what you should do, I think that's the wrong approach. People can say Lens are not the strongest team, but they are in the Champions League. They've got just as much of an opportunity of winning the competition as every other team in the competition by purely being in it. And I think I'm actually quite glad that maybe we lost the game, because I think we were a bit arrogant from the fan base, and I think maybe to the players, thinking that Lens was going to maybe be an easy game, we could just rotate and change and do whatever. No. We needed to take this game seriously, and I think Arteta's approach was correct. Was it unfortunate that Saka picked up the injury? Yes, it was. Could it have happened in another game? Yes. Could it have been prevented? Yes. But we never know. He could have gotten injured against City on the weekend. Like, he could have been fine, got through the whole 90 minutes yesterday, and then in the City game he gets injured. And what do we say? We should have benched Saka for the City game, or So it's always damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're Mikel Arteta when it comes to Bukayo Saka. Look, Saka is our star player, and look, I think that there were times early in the season, maybe in the last couple of games, for example, against Bournemouth, where you could have taken him off, But if you look at our performances this season, we haven't convincingly won, like, majority of our games where you could say, okay, Saka can come out and we've closed this game out. Besides, bar the PSV game and bar the Bournemouth game, all our other games have been a bit, in the balance. So Saka has had to play those minutes that he has to play, because we aren't at the levels that we should be or could be at, in order to give him more of a rest. Another big talking point that I see a lot of people speaking about was our fluidity. We don't look as fluid as we did last season, and this, that, and the other. My opinion is I think the team is evolving into what I would call more like the City prototype, in a sense. I'm not comparing us to City entirely. What I'm saying is that if you watch City games, they go through periods of the game where they completely just knock the ball 60, 50, 60 passes, back and forth, just across, moving the ball across, moving the defense of the opposition or moving their banks of four side to side and then waiting for the openings. I think that's what Arteta is looking to get. Hence why Raya is in the team, because when you look at Raya and Edison, they're two keepers that can dominate or play well on the ball, which then gives you even more domination or control of the ball. And I think that draws opponents either to you or it allows you to push further up the field because you have a ball-playing goalkeeper, right? So in terms of our fluidity, yes, I don't think we've been as fluid, but I think that we are currently in that next phase. That's why it's feeling a bit awkward. We don't know where we actually stand in terms of our system and how we should be building up correctly. And, maybe not as fluid and as good looking as we were last season, but points-wise, we're not doing bad at all. We're still unbeaten in the league, 2 draws, and the rest are wins. So I think that's great from us. But I think, a lot of fans need to understand that maybe we are at a different point now. We are no longer the unknown entity. Teams are more aware of what we do and what threats we bring. Hence why they will have the lower blocks. Look, I think Arteta should look to change up with certain players. Maybe Havertz doesn't bring as much fluidity as maybe a Smith Rowe in the midfield would be, or maybe pushing Rice further up and having Thomas Partey. But obviously we've had some disruptions to our team, and Arteta's obviously signed 2 midfielders for hefty prices that he needs to try and work into the team. You don't go and spend 105 million on Declan Rice and 65 million on Havertz and then don't try and get them to work in the system. But I do think Arteta should look at other, like you said, plan A, A1, A2, A3. I think Arteta should look at other ways of getting us more fluid in the midfield. I think, for example, bringing on Vieira on the right wing yesterday took away from our attacking threat. I think if you, for example, maybe I'd put Jesus on the right, put Havertz up front and put Vieira as the 8, maybe we could have seen something a bit different. But I think, Arteta's still trying to find the right balance of, controlling the game and also just, still being fluid. And look, I see a lot of people criticizing Arteta, and I don't know if I can criticize him that much yesterday. I think he put up quite a strong team. I think, putting Tomiyasu in for Ben White, there shouldn't be a drop-off in my opinion. And then bringing Trossard back in, having a Jesus up front, Saka, it was a strong team. I think it was the strongest possible team he could have put out, in my opinion, based off the players we also have available. So to maybe slate Arteta and say he got his tactics wrong, whatever, maybe the substitutions, yes, maybe were a bit late, or it wasn't maybe Vieira for Havertz and Nelson for Saka. But at the end of the day, I'm under the impression of the opinion that he fielded a team that, in my opinion, should be strong enough to beat Lens. And that's no disrespect to Lens, because they did beat us yesterday, obviously. But I think that to say Arteta got it wrong, I think the players also have to take some accountability for it yesterday. I think there were a lot of poor performers. I think Zinchenko looked very vulnerable on the counter-attack. When he looked very like they were always looking to attack down that their right-hand side and our left-hand side. I think Trossard had a poor game. I think Odegaard didn't have his best game. If you're asking me my players that I think played well yesterday, I would say I would probably go Declan Rice and Gabriel Jesus. I think Jesus had a couple of good chances. He was pressing well, doing what he could. Rice, for me, was the man of the match. I think he was the only player looking to drive us forward. And the problem is not the other players in the team didn't match his level. So it was almost like he was doing too much and the other players were doing too little. And that's the only issue I can have. And you can't necessarily put it all on the manager. Why wasn't the team fluid? The players are the ones on the field ultimately. Arteta prepares them during the week or pre-game, and the players have to implement what the coach wants. And I think both have to take the blame. I think from a team performance, it wasn't the greatest. And from a manager's perspective, it wasn't also the greatest. So yeah, I'm just on the opinion that I think Arteta needs to be given a bit of slack for yesterday's performance, because I think the team also didn't help him out at all yesterday. So what's next for Arsenal? Obviously, it's the big one. It's against City this weekend. Look, if we are ever going to make a statement of where we want to be this season, or to see where we really are as a team, we need to beat City. We need to beat City. And I think a lot of fans will say, but we need to maybe beat them convincingly. No, I think we just need to beat City. We need to beat them, whether it's 2-1, 1-0, 3-0, 5-0, it doesn't matter. We just need to beat City. It's not going to be an easy game. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are under the impression that there's no Rodri, no Kevin De Bruyne, so it's going to be a much easier game. Again, that is arrogance from us as Arsenal fans. Same way with Lens last night. We need to respect City. These are the treble winners. These are the reigning European and Premier League champions. They are the best team in the world. Yes, they might be missing two key players, but doesn't necessarily mean that those two players are now out the team, that it means that they are completely rubbish. No, they still have Erling Haaland, which on his day is a threat to any team. We all know Haaland can easily score a hat-trick. It's not a impossible thing. They have a strong defense, so defensively they're still strong. It's just their midfield where you might think it's a bit weaker, but they've got good workmanship there. You will have you could potentially have Kovacic, Martinez Nunez, and Calvin Phillips. It's not the best City midfield that we would come against, but those are still 3 Premier League proven players which are good enough to compete against us. What I would like to see though is, if Partey is fit enough, start him. Start him. Start Partey, start Odegaard, start Rice in the midfield. We need to dominate the midfield on Sunday. That is where the game for me will be won, is in the midfield. And I think if Arteta is going to play Havertz, he has to play him in the 9, or don't play him. Do not play Havertz in the midfield. I think he doesn't give us as much as I would like him to in terms of the physicality aspect. I would rather maybe revert to a Saka-esque player like Rice, which is maybe not the greatest offensively, but he does the box-to-box thing well. And I think we could benefit more from having Rice further up the field with his energy and his pressing ability and the control that Partey brings to the game. And I think that frees up Odegaard more. I think when you have Havertz in the team, it kind of takes away from Odegaard. He might have to do a bit more tracking back. But when you have Rice and Partey as the pivots in a sense, then you allow Odegaard to be a bit more free. I think all of us as Arsenal fans will be hoping that Bukayo Saka will be fit. If he's fit, it's a tricky one. Do you start him, maybe bring him on from the bench? It's a catch-22 because it could go either way. If Saka's fit, I think, he starts. I know people are like, but he just came off injured. But if you bring him on from the bench, how fit is he really? How much impact does he have? You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, if fit enough for the bench, he can start. Because you can always just give him 60 minutes and then take him off. At least have some sort of impact from him. But also, you could start him from the bench and then maybe look at having Jesus on the right, Havertz up front, and then Trossard on the wing. And hopefully, we can even have Martinelli back. I think if you can have Saka and Martinelli on the bench as impact players, maybe the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that, in my opinion, could also work. So, in terms of the City game, I think it's very, very important that Arteta gets us the balance properly. I think he needs to get a good balance of technical players on the field, but also players that can, win the ball, press high, and keep the energy levels up. And like I said, if Saka's not 100% fit, rather go with a team that is able to give you that 100% in terms of the pressing on City, because you don't want to give City too much respect either. So, yeah, I think when it comes to this game this weekend, I will do a preview of the game, a more in-depth preview on the Man City-Arsenal game, or should I rather say Arsenal-City game. And everybody, thank you so much for joining me again for another episode of Golden Gooner TV. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments. Share this video to all your other fellow Arsenal fans. Let's get engaging in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. What were your thoughts on the game yesterday? Was Arteta right to play Saka? And what are your expectations for this game on Sunday against Man City? So from myself, Shannon, guys, peace out and enjoy your evening.